So I like how it looks this way. Now I'm gonna start working on this side. The same thing. You just have to think how the hair is coming down. Like this hair lock is not just coming down from here. You gotta figure out where it actually is coming down from. You know? Oops. So this hair kind of comes down, and wraps around. So that's the difference between making the hair look like it flows and not just like a plastic shape, you know? So you start drawing hair locks underneath and on top. Just go nuts about it. Can bring another hair lock, like it's coming down like this, but instead of just following a parallel line, it's gonna come on top of the one that I drew before. Maybe have the ends like this, curving nicely. Or even I can just go further and, you know, that it really wraps around. So it comes down this way or something. And this one here can come on top as well. Just make sure they don't end up perpendicular. I mean, a tangent. This long hair lock that I had made before can make it come down like this, like no. And this little one just got lost inside the rest of the hair. So it has to make sense, but at the same time make it go all directions. I don't know what I'm doing here, but guess I'll figure it out when I paint it. This one here can be broken down in smaller hair strands. I don't know, maybe have a long one that just kind of gets lost on the back. Like so, and also this one would have a tiny hair strand. All of this can be figured out once I start painting. So this one is on the back. And so this one here, and of course all of these ones over here. See how this one is coming around? I can do that. And now we'll have loose hairs all around it. But for now, I just need the very big and basic shapes. Like this. So I'm gonna hide my layer, my sketch layer, and I'm gonna start working on the color. And as I mentioned in the chapter where I was talking about the lighting, I made this lighting particularly because I liked how the hair reflected the color of the hair onto her face. So I'm just gonna create a new layer. I'm gonna set it to color, and I'm going to mask the hair. It doesn't have to be super precise, but I'm just going to at least cover all the hair. Like, if I get a little bit of the face, that's okay. I'm gonna work on a separate layer anyway. So I'll try to be very precise in some areas. And again, I'm using the what's it called, the lasso tool, because it's very easy for me to do it. At least with the Cintiq, it is very easy. But if you have a very good use of the tablet, it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so as I said also, I have some pictures for, I have different pictures for different reference. So this one was for the hair and the hat and the blouse. This one was for the lighting, and also I'm gonna use it for color. And the other one, the one underneath, it was for the pose. So what I liked about this one was the lighting and the color. So I'm just gonna color pick that one color there, and I'm gonna apply it. So I think it looks pretty nice. I don't know if if I want to change to the color, I just use hue and saturation. So one of the fun parts about color is that complementary colors will always look good. So if I like this one tone, chances are I'm gonna like the opposite. And it's actually pretty good. It matches the skin tones and the eye color, and it looks nice overall. But I think I like the pink. Not very pink. Maybe like a little bit more red. That's good. If I lower the opacity, the saturation, I mean. There. See? So I'm going to bring up my sketch and I'm going to colorize it. As the hair is, I'm going to select the color of the hair, and then I go to hue and saturation, I check colorize, and it's gonna colorize that layer with the color that I have selected in my foreground. There, maybe. I set it to multiply. Yeah, I'll totally set it to multiply. So I want the shadows to be more saturated. Like that. See? So that sketch became a reference for the color and the shadows and the shape.